In this episode 2 video, we will explain SASE since birth, which was born as SASE. Currently, the only SASE since birth vendor in the market is Cato Network. When Gartner coined the new term SASE in 2019, Cato Networks was the vendor that inspired it. So, of course, Cato Networks is the right SASE. This is also because most of SASE vendors have been preferentially promoting the portfolio in the form of a quick entry into the SASE market. This is also the reason why most vendors in the market depreciate Gartner SASE is just a framework. Accordingly, this is a video to explain SASE since birth, which is the right SASE that can benefit from SASE. But if it doesn't go well, it can end up as proportional video for SASE network. So we'd like to leverage Dell Ola Group's presentation of unified SASE, which is approachable to SASE since birth with a logistic concept. The Dell Ola Group divides the SASE vendors into disaggregated SASE and unified SASE. This aggregated SASE is the same concept as portfolio SASE described earlier. In other words, it is a method providing independent network and security technology by embedding them within the components of SASE. On the other hand, it is said that unified SASE develops network and security technologies from one vendor to a single software stack. The figure below is a breakdown of 30 disaggregated SASEs and 3 unified SASE vendors announced by Dell Ola Group in 2022. Unified SASE, of course, has Cato Networks, which is SASE since birth, and there is a Versant Network, which are exploring security functions in their SD-WAN hardware device, and VMware, which acquired Valor Cloud and uploaded it to NSX. But today's topic is not unified SASE, but what is the final evolved, a right SASE. Therefore, we will use the definition of Dell Ola Group's unified SASE, but the final goal of the right SASE will be explained through Cato Networks. The reason by choosing Cato Networks and explaining it by excluding 2 vendors is that Versant Network install SD-WAN hardware equipment for more than 90% through MSP. So, it is difficult to see them as cloud native, which is an essential condition of SASE, and it is because VMware is not completely integrated, even though they add Valor Cloud to their own ESX. However, the future direction of these 2 vendors toward the unified SASE must be far ahead of other SASE vendors. The main benefits of SASE explained above are that it is installed, controlled by simplifying IT infrastructure through convergence, enables flexible scalability and contraction through cloud native according to business change, and improves stable network access performance through network service. As Dell Ola Group's unified SASE concept is a concept that focuses on convergence. Among these benefits, SASE since birth is added several qualifications. These are the main characteristics of unified SASE defined by Dell Ola Groups, and there are 3 major differences from portfolio SASE. Those are single policy repository, single management interface, single software stack. Here, to become SASE since birth, it is including network service based on cloud native and SLA. Let's have a look at them one by one. First of all, the single policy repository deals with network and security in a single policy repository in relation to each other. This means that all policies of the SASE service used by a specific company should be managed in one repository, not in the policy repository, for individual devices or individual POPs with various functions. This is one of Gartner's biggest goals for SASE. It is because in SASE, which has many functions, one policy change must be associated with many other functional factors configuring SASE. For example, when changing a policy for specific application in the firewall, it should be considered as a path to access the application and also consider whether or not it is being blocked by other security functions in the path. In the case of portfolio SASE, as it has a much policy repository, when there is a conflict between policies among its functions, it is necessary to adjust the policies of each function so that the policies are consistent. This is a matter to be also happened at the IT infrastructures that companies currently have. What you need to know is whether it is being blocked by a firewall, by the network, or by some other security feature. It is also true that this may cause business disruption and put a huge burden on the administrators who manage each function. It can be said a single policy repository is an attractive feature and benefit of unified SASE that can dramatically reduce the complexity and burden of management. The second is the single management interface. This is also known as a single management plane. It means that you can manage all the functions on the screen opened with one tap in one browser. Currently, among the portfolio SASE vendors, some of them have individual management screens per their combined factors, but there are vendors who have developed and have integrated management screens per convenience. However, the true meaning of the single management plane does not mean having multiple browsers on the monitor or having multiple tabs open and manage them independently. Next is the single software stack. It can be said that all SASE features are implemented in one technical stack by one vendor. Therefore, it is not the bundled product of loosely coupled components, and it doesn't mean that multiple product lineups are united as one SKU product. So far, we have explained from the perspective of unified SASE of Dell Ola Group various convergence of SASE functions. We mentioned that Dell Ola Group's unified SASE is not enough to be seen as right SASE. Let's summarize once again why by vendor. Only 4 vendors were officially recognized as unified SASE by the Dell Ola Groups in Q1 2022. The remaining 30 vendors are classified as disaggregated SASE, in which SASE functions are not fully converged. Ariaka, newly entering unified SASE, is a SD-WAN vendor and does not have security services. Recently, through cooperations with Checkpoint, they have uploaded security services in the form of virtual machines on their edge equipment and POPs. Could it really have been converged? Ariaka says that they managed everything in a fully managed form by themselves. Why can't customers see or access them? The second is Versa Networks. As you know, Versa supports SD-WAN service and basic security service in its VOS and runs it on a large hardware device. Most of the 100 POPs claimed by Versa are POPs operated by MSPs rather than their own POPs, and there are only a few POPs that support the Versa Titan themselves. It is said that the SASE functions are converged in hardware or VM, but why is Titan the only cloud native? Many offer to some remote users of companies. We are not sure what the difference is from Fortinet with SD-WAN on firewall, classified as disaggregated SASE. Next is VMware. VMware acquired Bella Cloud to provide SD-WAN service. If true convergence is completed, why does Bella Cloud shadow still remain strong? In the end, you can see that there are not enough things to become right SASE in any case. To become right SASE, everything must be developed on a new platform, and SASE cloud must be deployed globally. In the next third episode video, you can see the right SASE by analyzing Cato networks. The SASE since birth, which is not an exaggeration to say that it is the only recognized right SASE.